Right. So she turned up the heat. We're ready to go. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Hearing Things with Julie and Brad. And so we're very opposite. Like we've made it known that I'm the introvert. She's the extrovert. I run very hot.
I'm freezing.
Freezing. So we're having a conversation about
hands.
turning up the heat. And I'm in short sleeves. Anyway, so today is not about who runs hot and who runs cold. Today we're going to talk about perfectionism. And so this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and luckily we are not perfectionists that it gets in the way of our daily life.
Yeah, I was going to say debilitating perfectionists. We're very fortunate that we're not struggling with that as a life struggle, so we're very grateful for that. But there is an element of perfectionism that we are curious if it is a byproduct of our disability or not.
For me, excuse me. For me, conversations are always challenging. So I always strive to have like the perfect opener or the perfect way to start a conversation. Yeah.
So it's not fluid. It's not automatic.
No, because it's because I want to give myself the best possible chance to have the best interaction, no matter what it is, whether it's just ordering food at a restaurant or having a deep conversation with Julie or someone. I always try to think about how to start, how to break that ice. And some of that does come from the introversion as well, as like interactions can be draining if they're hard for the introversion, but they can also be draining for the hearing loss. And so I think to some degree, the perfectionism of me wanting to have the perfect conversation is related to my hearing loss. What about you? What do you think?
So for me, I just say whatever flies out of my mouth.
Yes.
I don't really put a lot of thought into social interaction and talking, because I'm fortunate that even though I have the hearing loss, which we've learned is a communication disability, I'm very fluid with my language and my thoughts. I'm very lucky that everything up here communicates with itself, so I don't have that laborious thought process with every social interaction. My thing, and I think this is where the perfectionistic tendencies come in, I always feel like I need to prove myself to other people.
Interesting.
And I go back to, from an academic lens, right? Being in school, I just had this drive of, I am going to do what you can do, and I'm going to do it 10 times better with 4 senses than what you can do with 5. So the academic pressure that I put on myself all through school, college, grad school, I think is in large part driven by the hearing loss, driven by what can I achieve in spite of this disability, instead of taking a step back and going, this is hard. Some things might be hard for you, and that's okay. Oh, no. That went to the side, and like a steam train went blowing right through. Who goes to college and has 3 majors? This kid, okay? It's ridiculous. I look back and I'm like, what are you doing? And part of it is self-motivation. I think it would have been me anyway. But a huge part of that stress and strain to get the perfect grade and be the perfect student and put myself behind everything I do is because I feel like I have to constantly prove myself as someone with a disability. So I think for me, there's a level of that perfectionism is a byproduct of my hearing loss.
Yeah, I think you're also very competitive, and I think that that plays a role. But I think like doing things like the level of expectation that we put on ourselves because of our hearing loss, I think is higher than most.
It's huge.
I'm sorry if you could hear that Happy is right next to us. So if you could hear the shaking, that was her. I think that self-criticism for me anyway, I don't want to speak for you, but for me it's I'm my own harshest critic.
Same.
For sure. And some of that is the perfectionism, right? Because you want to make sure that you give yourself the best chance to succeed. And so for a while, it took me years to be able to even blog, because my writing is very personal. I write for myself, and I find it's therapeutic for me in a lot of cases. And so it took me a long time to share any of my writing online. And I know we don't have a huge amount of following, but my perfectionism did stop me for a long time. It's like, this needs to be perfect. But what is perfect? You can always edit your writing. That's the challenge, right? Just know when to stop editing and just put it out there. So, like Julie said earlier, we're definitely lucky that it doesn't get in the way of a lot of things. It
Right.
definitely colors how we go about our days, but it doesn't stop us from being able to go about our days. You know.
I'm the same way. I have a very nasty critic that sits in a rocking chair, and its hobby is to pick
rocking
me
chair.
apart
Oh,
every
interesting.
second of everything I do.
Yeah.
It's awful, and quieting that voice has been a lifelong struggle, and I'm still can't do it. You talk about writing. When I started my blog in 2021 about hearing loss, I remember I hit, post on that first one and wanted to throw up on the rug because I was like, I'm not that good of a writer. I'm not good at this. I'm only putting out my best, but other people can do this better than me. Spoiler alert, I'm a pretty goddamn good writer, okay? Because I read back my stuff and I'm like, that's good. But
Yeah.
everything I do, like even right now, when we do our social media content creation, I do my artwork, I pick myself apart.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And then I look at it afterwards and I'm like, you just crocheted a platypus. Like, really, not everybody can crochet a platypus.
I can't.
But I also think that comes back to the hearing loss again because I wonder how much of this is me not feeling worthy enough because I'm not intact, right?
Oh, interesting.
And then I also go the other way of how much of this is me wanting to make people forget about my hearing loss because I'm so spectacular in what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not like an ego statement. That's just the perfectionism channeling out that way. You know what I mean?
I think now is a very hard time to be any level of perfectionism because you're picked apart online. There's no hard line between public and private anymore. I can't imagine going to school nowadays with not being able to retreat. Like you're always online. And not only you're always online, but people are cherry picking interactions. And then what we see so often online isn't everyday life, but it's passed off as everyday life. So you need to compare yourself to literal unrealistic expectations.
So unhealthy.
And with the filters and AI
So
now,
unhealthy.
it's very challenging.
And contrived fun and contrived scenarios. And that's kind of what I love about like what we do. It's real and authentic and in the moment. There is no scripted, present a certain way aesthetic going on.
No. What you see is what you get, guys.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
What you see is me freezing right now in this house.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I'm okay. I'm good.
God.
Let's get open the window.
So, yeah, the perfection is, it's interesting.
Give yourself... cut yourself some slack. If you are like us and maybe a little too competitive or perfectionist, you don't have to be perfect, right? Especially with hearing loss, because that's our jam, right? Is you just have the conversations, make the mistakes, learn from the mistakes. Don't do what you're supposed to do. And forgive yourself. Be nicer to yourself, but
That's
also,
hard.
Yeah. Oh, I have so
I don't
much
do well
problem.
with that.
I have so many problems with that.
No way.
But you also have, it's a fine line, right? You got to put yourself out there. You got to ask for your accommodations, but you also have to be okay with not doing it. I think our extrovert introvert tips that we wrote, that blog, really shows that there isn't any way to be one way to be deaf or hard of hearing, or be an advocate of any kind. You don't have to follow a script. You got to find what works for you. And so we did want to talk about perfectionism during Mental Health Awareness Month because some people aren't as lucky as we are and don't know how to get out of their own way, essentially. And so have the conversation. Don't be afraid to ask for help, right? There's no shame in asking for help, and believe me, coming from me, that is very hard. I had to ask Julie to go over and feed Happy because I wasn't available the other day, and I struggled. I wrote that text 3 or 4 times.
With me.
With you.
Of all people.
Right.
Like,
I have so
I'm
many...
like an extension of you now. Like, really?
So it's everyone's struggling, right? Everyone is struggling at some point in time.
And I'm going to add, it's okay to accept the help. It's one thing to ask for it, but if help is offered, it's okay to accept it. It doesn't mean that you're not doing something well enough or doing it incorrectly. You know, that's almost harder than asking for help, I think. It's accepting the help when it's offered before you initiate. You know?
They're different. For me, they're different challenges. They're both equally hard, and but they're definitely slightly different challenges because it's like, oh, I'm perfect. I don't need help, right? And that's BS. There's no way that anyone can do anything by themselves. No. We're too interconnected in this world.
It's true.
So you need to be able to get out of your own way and accept help.
And I think I'm curious if people are surprised hearing us be so vulnerable and talk about things that are difficult, like the harsh critic, the perfectionism, your challenges with like the social interactions, and
It's hard.
I'm actually a very anxious person, which I think surprises a lot of people. I do have some anxiety over different things, and I don't think people realize it because I present myself so strong and confident and outward, but I have my insecurities too. I think I'm very insecure about, which I think comes as a shock to a lot of people because of the way I present. But it doesn't mean that there isn't another story happening.
Oh, there's always something.
In
Everybody's
your brain.
complex, right? There's usually more to the story in every single situation. So anybody have any tips or tricks on how they deal with their own perfectionisms or doubt or problems with accepting help in any area? Please let us know.
And were you surprised? But what we had to share was that something that was unexpected, because again, with social media, you see us one way. A lot of you don't know us personally.
Right.
And you may have a parasocial connection to us, which is great, but you don't know us as real people. So I'm curious if that surprises anybody. I gotta move. I'm sitting at a weird angle.
Why are you sitting?
And I'm old now,
What's
and my hip
on?
is hurting.
Okay.
I'm doing like a weird slant situation.
Slant? Well, shift. You don't have to be perfect. You can move. You're right. Need a cushion.
Yeah, I was like sitting at a weird angle, like leaning wrong. I don't know. Whatever.
Better now?
I'm old.
It happens.
Okay.
All right, books.
Well done, friend. Good for you.
Yes, up top.
Nice job. All right.
Books. Do you want to go first?
Yes. Okay. Talk about old things. This book was my grandmother's, and my grandpa and my uncles and my grandma used to read this to me when I was little. It's from 1971. Stand back, said the elephant. I'm going to sneeze. It is.
I love it.
Adorable.
I love it. And good advice.
And it's rhyming. So, I don't suppose you could hold your nose or wait a while, asked the crocodile with a sad little smile. Oh my, do try, said the fly.
Well, that's cute.
And the whole book is about these animals that are so concerned about this elephant sneezing.
Yeah.
And sneezing a great sneeze and blowing everybody away.
Aww.
And it's awesome. So you can see at the end, yipes, said the zebra. There go my stripes. Because the elephant finally sneezed at the end. Well, the hippo went thump right on his plump. You know what. I used to cackle as a kid. And I'm so happy that I kept this after my grandparents passed away in 1995. So it's been in my book collection ever since. And I came across it when I was looking for books for our episodes this weekend. And I said, I've never done this one. So I'm so happy I pulled this one out. Just a special little thing.
That's fun.
It's fun.
All right, so my book is not so fun. My book is...
what now?
I'm Still Just a Geek by Will Wheaton. So Will Wheaton, if you don't know, was a child star. He was in Stand By Me. That's where he made his big break.
Who was he in Stand By Me?
It's Gordy. He was the main character.
That's the actor's name?
Yeah, Will Wheaton. So it's Will Wheaton, Jerry O'Connell, River Phoenix, and Corey Feldman.
See, I only ever remember River Phoenix and Corey Feldman.
Right, yeah, so they were there. So anyway, so he was also in Star Trek: The Next Generation, and he left because he thought that he wasn't good enough. He was a Trekkie. He watched the original series, and he got a role on The Next Generation, and it was like a dream come true for him. But his own mental health problems got in the way.
Wow.
And so he left the show after 4 years because of preconceived notions, not feeling like he belonged. He's since come to terms, and if you're a big Star Trek fan, watching like the reunions and the cast, they have such a great camaraderie, all of them. But so after he left, he went to work for like a tech startup in Texas, but he also started writing. And so he wrote I'm Just a Geek in like the early 90s, right? When blogging was very new. It was just like a collection of his blogs. And they were very cringy. And so like a lot of misogyny and a lot of problematic attitudes. And so a couple of years back, he annotated the book.
No kidding.
And basically republished it. And talk about brave. He was able to point out why he was doing wrong, not making any excuses for it. He was saying, this is a problem. I'm cringing reading this. But he didn't edit it. He wanted to show that you can learn from your mistakes. You can grow as a person. And so he's just a phenomenal advocate for mental health. The stuff that he went through as a child actor, he's divorced from his parents because they wanted the money. And like his story is tragic. But man, he made such a life for himself, and he's not shying away from his struggles. He's being brave enough to put them to the forefront and make it a big part of his work. And so I'm Still Just a Geek shows that evolution, and I love that because too often we have hero worship, and you have to be able to.
Can you hear that?
She's ringing.
Okay, here's what's weird.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Flag on the play. So I can hear the phone ringing in my Bluetooth and my hearing aids.
Yeah, it's ringing out there
It
too.
also rings. So I didn't know that. This is new. I thought when it rang, it only rang in my head.
I have that problem too. When it rings both.
It rings on the phone
It
also.
rings both. I don't understand why. That's not helpful. Anyway, so there's a little insider information. But I didn't have anything else really to say. I respect him so much from being able to show his true self, like warts and all. Like, he's not the same person he was, but it also helped shape him. And I think it's very brave not to want to make excuses or hide the dirty
Yeah, that's
secrets.
huge, being able to
It was great. So
be vulnerable and self-aware enough to acknowledge and not have the excuses part of like, oh, I know I said this, but good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love it.
So this is our 4th episode in May, centered around mental health awareness. And Mom, just a reminder, this is why we're wearing the same outfits, because we're doing them all at once to keep the theme going.
So our prerequisite, please like and subscribe on whatever platform, because it does help us. We want to start making money from this thing. So
subscribe on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram,
podcast.
Facebook. I don't care if you never watch anything. Just give me your subscription, please, okay? We need to get our numbers up. Second thing, go to our website, dttproductions.com. Poke around. Find our merch store. Oh, my God, the logo, the Boston Terrier logo is amazing. Patreon. If you don't know what that is, find somebody to tell you. You can email us. We'll help you out. Monthly subscription. You can go as low as $2 a month. Money comes to us. We don't take a salary. This all goes towards the work that we're doing. You get benefits under each tier. The tiers go from $2 all the way up to $20. So if you're paying $20 a month, you automatically get a free 15-minute appointment with us every month, one-on-one, to discuss anything you want to talk about related to hearing loss, disability, or just your life. Do a little life coaching. God knows I wouldn't take life coach advice from me, but it might be worth the entertainment factor for $20 a month. So anyway, go take a look at the Patreon newsletter. Scroll down the bottom of our homepage. You can subscribe on the newsletter. And what else are we doing? I don't know. We do all kinds of things.
No, you mentioned
we're having a blast.
Yeah, we're having a great time.
We're having a blast.
And so, like, the more support that we get from the magic algorithm, which you can help with the subscribing and rating and all that stuff, donations. Well, not donations. You're subscribing to us. The more we bring in, the more we can do, because we just want to help.
If you want to make a one-time donation, not opposed to receiving that either, email us hello@dttproductions.com, or if you know us personally, send us a text or an email, stop us on the street. We really don't care. We need money, people. If you want to see this content keep coming, we got to start boosting this up, because we have so much more we want to do and so many more people to help, and we need the funds to be able to do that. So thank you for this appeal. For 33 cents a day, you too can support Down the Tubes Productions.
Wait.
Okay. Keep it up. If you don't give us money, I'm going to start playing that music from the ASPCA commercial, and you're really going to feel bad. So let's go, guys. Let's do this.
All right.
All right. Thanks everybody.
Guys.
Bye.